We'll find you, but conflicting information from the government has left many wondering if they will actually receive their share. As Bruce Strausser will tell you, money is tighter now, especially because grocery shopping has changed.
Now, instead of going to 3 stores and shopping ads and buying.
If you are in the government database to receive some sort of Social Security record, they're going to have an address on file for you. And if they have a direct deposit information for you from any time over the last few years, you may find that that payment just shows up in your bank account.
Everybody, the Federal Reserve is actually set to boost interest rates once again. We have a ton of good news about this, and a ton of good news about the fourth stimulus check that you just have to know. You don't want to miss out on this video, so continue watching. More than 2 million homeowners will get a rebate on their school property taxes this fall, all part of the new budget approved in the state. The rebate checks will actually be mailed to homeowners in the fall. And this rebate payment is actually in addition to the usual STAR program and a STAR payment that goes out in the state of New York. So the state budget officials have said that the average benefit in New York is about $970 per stimulus check. So this state stimulus check will help about too many people, everybody. The stimulus check in the state of New York will actually be around $425 on average as well. The tax credit goes to taxpayers who own and live in property that already qualifies for basic STAR payments. There is a revival of a rebate program that also expired in 2019 with some changes. This year's deal decreased the highest income level from $275,000 to $250,000. It also increased the tax credit amount to 100 minimum rebate checks and makes New York City homeowners eligible for this. It also drops the requirement that school districts stay within a tax cap in order for homeowners in that district to qualify. The original rebate program was created in 2016 at the same time the state was imposing a spending cap on school districts. Unlike previous programs, this one only lasts a year. It is an advance on 2022 income tax returns, everybody. And now it will be mailed this fall, but taxpayers actually don't have to apply for it. The Federal Reserve is also expected to raise interest rates again by 0.75 of a percentage point, and then signaled that it could reduce the size of its rate hikes starting as soon as December. Investors are also anticipating the Fed will actually slow down its pace before winding down the rate hiking cycle early in March. A basis point is equal to about 0.01 of a percentage point. And a chief U.S. economist in Bank of America told CNBC that he expects the Fed Chair Jerome Powell to indicate during his next press briefing that the Fed has discussed slowing the pace of rate hikes. He expects the Fed would then raise interest rates by a half percentage point in December. The impact of Americans has been broadly felt, especially at a time when inflation remains high. Mortgages have topped 7% for the first time in 2 decades, while credit cards and rates are rising sharply. The surge in mortgage rates has rapidly cooled the housing market, and economists forecast that it may be in for more turmoil. Housing prices could fall by as much as 20% next year as mortgage rates continue to climb. Economists expect the central bank will boost rates by 0.75 percentage points. It will bring the Fed's target range to 3.75% to 4%. But recent economic data hasn't even suggested that inflation is slowing down yet. And so far, the Fed's 5 hikes in 2022 have increased rates by a combined 3 percentage points. It means consumers are paying an extra $300 in interest on average, and also with $10,000 in debt. It will translate into a big impact on consumers who are carrying balances on their credit cards. So far, credit card rates have jumped in response to the Fed rate hikes throughout the year. And so, hopefully President Biden can actually send out stimulus check, and everybody, hopefully President Biden can pay people stimulus money because so many people are in need of stimulus payments.
And I love how these Republicans talk about fighting crime. On a federal level, we passed the most significant gun safety legislation in nearly 30 years. And we're coming back to do what I was able to do in the 90s. That is ban assault weapons. Westmore's a combat vet. He knows it's responsible, what responsible gun ownership is. He'll ban ghosts.
Some states are trying to step up where Congress failed. In Vermont, Republican governor and a Democratic state legislature signed off on a $1,000 tax credit for every child 5 and under. Phil Scott, the state's Republican governor, had initially proposed a wider set of tax cuts. In a statement, Governor Scott said it would have helped a broader cross-section of taxpayers, but that this bill is a step in the right direction. Everybody, what are your thoughts on President Biden so far? So it is here. Lawmakers have approved a new financial relief program. These checks will be worth at least $300. And now new extra stimulus cash will be making its way to thousands of Americans in the form of $300 direct payments as soon as this summer. Hawaii's governor first proposed a tax refund in his 2022 State of the State address. The governor signed it into law this week. He told reporters at the start of 2022, "We made a commitment to support programs and policies that would help our residents get back on their feet." Both bills represent a collaborative effort to bring the people of Hawaii some relief as we continue to recover from a 2-year crisis. So in order to be eligible for a tax refund under this legislation, you have to earn less than $100,000 a year. And for those whose earnings are above those thresholds, you will receive $100. The tax rebate package will benefit taxpayers and dependents who filed in the state, and is expected to cost the state about $250 million. That means an eligible family of 4 could earn up to $1,200 in state funds. And according to the Department of Taxation, refunds are due to start rolling out in the last week of August. The measure also commits $500 million to Hawaii's rainy day fund and prepays $300 million for retirement liabilities. The second bill passed increases the state's minimum wage for the first time since 2018, from $10 an hour to $12 an hour starting October, and it will increase to $14 an hour in 2024, $16 an hour in 2026, and then $18 an hour in 2028. Now, rebates will continue for hundreds of thousands of people in New Mexico. However, unlike the first 2 rounds of stimulus, in May and June, the last anticipated effort from July have some strings attached. Specifically, the upcoming rebates have an income threshold, meaning those who made over a certain amount of money in the 2021 calendar year will not be eligible. The latest tax rebate checks are eligible for New Mexico residents who filed their 2021 taxes. As mentioned, there's an income threshold tied to these rebates, which is different for both single filers and joint filers. According to the New Mexico Tax and Revenue Department, the rebates should be processing during the first full week of July, or next week, and Moore says it will take the full month for the rebates to get out to eligible taxpayers. So for many people, you may not receive a payment for several weeks. As for how the payments will be rolled out, well, the state will pay July rebates automatically, via direct deposit or a paper check. Checks will be sent to those who don't have a direct deposit bank information on file with the state. And the state expects to print about 210,000 paper checks. So in printing 14,000 checks per day, the process is expected to take several weeks to complete. By comparison, the state says it expects to distribute about 500,000 payments via direct deposit.
Thank you very much, and I thank the gentleman. The gentlewoman from North Carolina, Ms. Adams, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Chair Powell. Good to see you again. I'm happy that we can now congratulate you on your confirmation as you continue to serve as chair. Also, I'm delighted that Dr. Lisa Cook, an HBCU graduate and the first Black woman on the Fed board, and Dr. Philip Jefferson, the 4th Black man, and someone who teaches in my district at Davidson, have joined you as well. So, as we've discussed before, you know how concerned I am about the housing market, and according to your February monetary policy